Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and comment on the videos. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, let's go. Hello, Billy Ho here again. Another video in the low key series for week one DraftKings. Today we are going to touch on a few tight ends that I like, and that didn't come out quite right, but I do like tight ends. So let's take a look at them. I ain't scared. This show is going to be tight ends for your DFS contest that'll hopefully give you some leverage. So, you can actually pay up or go cheap on tight ends. Not everybody, most everybody will, especially in cash, they just punt tight end. But sometimes you find that middle range, that $4,500 tight end or that, 4,200 tight end. Those are like the Goldilocks tight ends, I call them, where they're just right. They're not too expensive and they're not too cheap. So let's take a look at some right now. All right. Now, we're going to start up top, I think, and, this is probably going to gain a lot of steam, but most people don't, like I said, pay all the way up. So I'm going to start with Mark Andrews because, like I said, people don't like to pay up. So he is all the way the most expensive tight end. And people might say, well, shit, Kelsey's cheaper. Kittle's always good. Kyle Pitts is the second coming of, Godzilla or whatever. And keep an eye on Darren Waller. Actually, I did not fully mention Waller in this video because that hamstring was a problem, but maybe it's not. Maybe he was just using it as leverage to get a contract. But anyway, Mark Andrews first. And really, there's really not a whole lot you could say about him. I mean, he's a double-digit target monster. He had a career season last year, and he had a couple of spurt touchdown games, but he really didn't. That 44-point game, though, you get that out of a tight end, and you're dancing. But he's solid. I mean, but paying almost 6,800, you got to crack 20. So he's done it once, three or four times there. But for the most part, he's about a safe 16. He's a 2.5x. He's a cash play. So take that as you want. But I like him. I think he's going to get a high target share. And I think that the Baltimore backfield is not healthy yet. You do have Bateman and Duvernay, but Andrews' chances for at least a touchdown, 8 catches, maybe 60 to 70 yards. So 20 points is definitely possible. They've got that guy Isaiah Likely on the team, and he seems to be getting a lot of love, but he's a rookie, and rookie tight ends are, I'm not going to say they're the worst, but they seem to be the most challenged to contribute because they're required to block. The tight end originally, pass catching tight ends are great, lining him up in the slot, but you still got to put the guy out there. And when he ain't running routes, his ass needs to be blocking. So a lot of those guys don't understand assignments, and they have a hard time figuring out how to run routes for NFL quarterbacks and whatnot. So there's that. Now, the next guy I want to talk about, I mean, Kelsey, Kittle, Pitts, I mentioned them all. Waller, I don't think so. This is a Goldilocks. TJ Hawkinson. 4,900 is a bit expensive, but our Discord guys, shout out to our Discord, Billy Ho's Flophouse. I usually post a link on Twitter from time to time. I may put it in this video. I'd like to get some new NFL blood on the Discord so we can chat. But we love this game as on the over because both of these teams, it's kind of screaming for a shootout, especially if Philadelphia's run game's not 100% healthy with Miles Sanders. They may throw more. Hawkinson, if you remember right, and this is almost on a yearly basis, he comes out of the gate hot. Big numbers in the first couple of weeks of the season. He's done that before. I don't know what happens to him further on in the season. Sometimes he gets nicked up, but this is week one, and we don't have to own him for the whole season. We just have to own him this week. So, holla, holla, TJ. And of course, Swift, Amon, St. Brown, and Chark. There's plenty of guys to go to. And then on the coin flip side, even cheaper, Dallas Goedert, which is kind of wild because I think Goddard will. I guess he may not command as many targets now with Hurts having AJ Brown to throw to, but he's still a 6 to 8 target a game guy, and he may get loose. They may spend so much time trying to cover Brown and Devontae Smith that Goddard just gets loose. So we never know. He's a fine play, but not exactly low key. So I apologize for that. But I thought I'd best mention him since we like this game so much, and he is definitely going to be an integral part. So Philly does have the best O-line in the league, so I don't know if Goddard will get the same target share, but he's in that nice Goldilocks area as well. A few of these guys down here, Freiermuth, Tanyan, unknowns to me. Ertz is older. I don't think I want to pay that price. We don't quite know what Njoku or Everett's roles are going to be. And then you get into this middle range guys with Hunter Henry and Mo Alley Cox is down here at 34. Those guys, I like Mo Alley Cox, but these guys are going to be touchdown dependent. I mentioned in a previous video CJ Uzama, who I think could be a really, really nice target. And having Joe Flacco start the season, I think will help because Flacco back in his Ravens days, he threw to tight ends like Dennis Pitta and shit. So, I could definitely see the secret of the Uzma, as Mr. Pat Mayo likes to say. I could see him doing some damage. But guy, before we dip below 3,500, I wanted to mention this guy. He might be my favorite tight end on the slate. Is Austin Hooper, Tennessee. He shipped over from Cleveland, and he was stuck in Cleveland for 2 years behind whack-ass Baker Mayfield, who didn't act like he didn't know what a tight end was. And he just thought he had his skinny jeans on. And he thought, well, does my end look too tight in this? Because he didn't get much love at all. And this guy could handle some targets, and he's a good athlete. He runs a great route. So glad to see him shipped out of there. And also back in Tennessee, where Tannehill is got a young group of wide receivers there. And they are on a run-heavy offense, but they will throw to a tight end. So I think he could revert back to his Atlanta days and get those 7 to 8 targets a game again. Robert Woods is another guy, but he doesn't necessarily – he does it all. He doesn't necessarily have to have a lot of targets. So I feel pretty good about them. So Hooper, nice low-key tight end, and you can use him in many game stacks. You got him, and you can go in a flex and take a Saquon Barkley, and boom, mini game stack, Teenyverse. And then that gives you a piece of some afternoon games, and then you can go back over and you can look at a myriad of other things. You got 5,700 average remaining. You throw in a cheap defense and you're dancing. Now, even further down the list, and this guy, I don't know if he might be getting a lot of push if he's healthy. Logan Thomas. It was almost a foregone conclusion that he was not going to be ready for week 1, but he's running around and he looks pretty decent. So if he gets in the game, he's another guy at $3,200 that could get 7 to 10 targets. So keep an eye on him. He may go overlooked because you got John Bates down here who was the guy that came in for Logan Thomas, who did damage in a few games as well. but he's questionable. So we got to monitor that situation. Now, the last guy I wanted to mention, and I'm not really, he's low key, but I'm not really super hyped about him, is Brevin Jordan. And I think because he also has Pharaoh Cooper, who takes some work, but this 4 catches for 56 yards and the 4 for 26 and a touchdown, that kind of stuff could work. It's more often not going to happen than it will, but that's why they call it gambling, right? So he's a good guy to have. They'll be throwing a lot, and there might be some more guys down the road. So we're going to keep an eye on the injury situation. But I just wanted to throw some guys out there to get you thinking about things, because that's what the main thing about this. There's so many players there that you need to start thinking. We still got over a week and a half before the Sunday slate. So this just kind of gets it in your head and to start narrowing down the player pool a little bit. And the next video, I'm going to be doing wide receivers, which is the most robust. So that one won't probably come out today, but it'll come out over the weekend. And then as DraftKings starts posting more contests, I'm going to do a special 2-part series called Split the Slates. Split the slate. So what that does is there's an early slate and then there's a late slate. And what we're going to do is split them, right? Rocket science. But it also narrows your player pool, gives you more advantages, less to worry about with the flex, and it's more interesting and less people do it. And it kind of narrows your competition down. You get smaller contests, but you still get chances to win money. And that's your best bet is in these GPPs is not beating 150,000 players. It's beating 150 players. So join me for that next video. I got the 2 split the slates and the wide receiver video low key. Till the next video, see you soon.